What would you like to know? The bad news or the good news? Well, let's start with the bad news. The bad news is that the Soros Fund to fund all sorts of philanthropic initiatives is $26 billion. The good news is the new person who's handling it, Alex Soros, the son of George Soros, has put it on hold. I'm hoping and praying that the United States government, I only will say US is the one that's most powerful here, has leaned on them to say go easy on some of these fundings because you guys are really wreaking havoc. You know that last month there were 260,000 illegal immigrants that crossed into United States with total impunity. People don't even know where they have disappeared into. And it's only going to get worse as word spreads. Anyway, so this is one side. On the other side, you have another new Hindu baiting organization out of the United States called HindutvaWatch.org. Needless to say that it is already paired up with Mr. Mohammad Zubair of India, the fact checker who's also been allegedly hired by Karnataka government to try and keep the pot boiling. We all know that part, right? Who is HindutvaWatch.org? Now, I want you guys to look at this video in a little bit of careful manner because I'm going to share a lot of information. Some of it is based on a DisinfoWatch Lab series of tweets, but that's not all. There's a lot more happening in the United States as they are now seeing pushback starting to come. I'm not saying pushback is the strong pushback starting to come from the Sanatanis of North America, especially in the United States and Canada. You know the usual suspects, myself included. I'm proud to say that. Now, what exactly is going on is that in a recently concluded conference in Stanford last week, there was a booth that was showing ChatGPT as to how it acquires data. And like it or not, it was being manned by a Hindu Indian American girl. And she was using Mr. Mohammad Zubair's tweets to illustrate the concept. I mean, of all the things in the world, she couldn't get anybody else's tweet. And then they show that how this takes a life of its own under ChatGPT. Look, ChatGPT is another GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. If you give it wrong information, it's going to give you wrong output also. So it is my belief, and I have tried some of these things. These are all nice, but you can't use it more than once because it basically repeats itself. And I was hoping to get some information about Kashmir. I thought, okay, ChatGPT is always, going and browsing the web for us, like bots running around picking up new data. Therefore, I should be able to have the most up-to-date information about Kashmir. Wrong. These guys are much, much behind, and they were talking about the formation of Kashmir, how it got, split into two, 1947, basically. So it was way too old and way too useless. So I personally, at this point of time, I'm not using ChatGPT, but I digress. We were going to talk about HindutvaWatch.org. Who is this? Well, needless to say, another creation of alphabet soup organizations, and it has a Pakistani hand behind it. How? Here we go. Now this is a bigger chart, but I just broke it into two parts. I've given you some links that you can go and click on to get more information. On Hindutva Watch, you have one side, the technical backend being managed by a guy called Cyrus Kayani, and he is connected with PMLN, this is the Nawaz Sharif Pakistani Muslim League, and then he also is part of Global Village Space, which is also part of Pakistani establishment. Now you see how they are morphing their names to take out the Islam part, so that it is very hard for you to figure out where the origins are. On the other side of the Hindutva Watch, you have this person called Rakib Hamid Naik, who is the owner of this site, and he is part of Twocirclesnet. I encourage you to go to Twocircles.net. We're going to be using the abbreviation TCN to say Twocircles.net. Why I say that is because these people have this dream. Remember I told you about Indian elections being just a math? They always want to combine the Muslims, the Christians, and the Dalits. MCD, Municipal Corporation of Delhi. Easy to remember, right? MCD. According to their math, they figure that if they can get all Dalit votes all Muslim votes and all Christian votes, it adds up to 40%, and enough for them to win the elections. 20% Dalit, 5% Christian, 15% Muslim. This is their dream. And that 5% is growing fast, guys. And I see no signs of stopping. Even the current BJP government is not able to stop the way Jagan Mohan Reddy is sneaking it in Andhra Pradesh. All I can say is that you guys are being made fool of, and the sooner you realize this, the better, because otherwise this is going to destabilize India. It will not be right versus wrong. It will not be left versus right in election. It will be might versus everything else. That is how these guys are trying to go. And we have given them a huge opening. $26 billion is what they have allocated to create unrest and create open society. How long are we going to just sit and suck our thumb and watch them do it? We have to stand up and fight for what is right. So here is this guy, Rakib Hamid Naik and Adil Kayani, because I'm going to be going back and forth on these two names quite a bit. Now, Hindutva Watch started as a Twitter handle in 2019, and its website also became operational in the same year. It had no fathers until it got owned by this individual, Rakib Hamid Naik, in 2023. He calls himself a news director, and this was done with the help of Washington Post journalist Pranshu Verma. You will always see some names here, Hindu names. These guys are, gluttons for punishment. That's all I can say. Ah, bail mujhe maar. Seems to be the motto, because they are the first ones to be getting consumed in this. They need these faces like Sunita Vishwanath for HFHR. This individual here, so that they can keep sounding righteous. That hey, look, a Hindu is telling you all these things. Therefore, look out. Also, you should go and look at viewers Twocirclesnet, and you'll understand that math that I told you about, MCD, that is very much in play here. At any rate, so Verma didn't even check the dates, claiming that it was founded in April 2021. To get the details, you may not be able to see the text clearly here. Go to the description section, and I've given you the Disinfo Lab complete Twitter thread. You can go and take a look at it to understand where I'm coming from, what the data points to. These are all database, nothing being made up here, unlike the contents of this site. So, Hindutva Watch was not the only project of Rakib Naik. He also associated himself with another anti-India propaganda front called Twocirclesnet. I told you about this, right? I showed you the diagram. So now, this is part of a larger info war network run by the Jamaat-e-Islami Pakistani affiliates. We will come back to this in a while. Now, remember that, first of all, ISI is practically bankrupt. What I'm hearing is that the Taliban have destroyed the opium crop in Afghanistan. Indian government has destroyed the opium crop in Manipur area. So at least within these bounds, they don't have much access to raw opium. Now, the next thing for them is they'll have to go find somewhere else to keep their drug networks going. That is why you're seeing all these problems reflected in Canada. Because the end of this drug traffic is here, and they see things going away. So there's not space for so many drug players. So probably that is why there is a shakeout here. I would expect the Canadian police or the Federal Bureau of Investigation to throw some light on this as to what exactly is going on. Why can't it tell the public that this is the root cause of this problem? Instead of the Canadian government, Mr. Trudeau blaming Indian government, no proof. Well, what can we say? This is what the new news is. This is not news. This is fake narratives. This is narratives. That's all it is. Now, how did the connection happen between Hindutva Watch and Pakistani establishment? Disinfo Lab uses this particular interactive map to prove this point. What they're saying is that this map of India's subcontinent was embedded and run by one person called Sardar Adil Kayani. You saw his picture in slide 2. Now, Kayani developed this interactive map on October 13th, 2021 and uploaded it on Hindutva Watch website on October 21st, about 8 days later. To date, the map has not been used elsewhere except the Hindutva Watch website, implying that it was specially created or curated for this project. Now, just to confuse things, you might find it on 10 different sites. Creating a website is not that hard these days, guys. So these guys will resort to that also in the near future. When you have unlimited source of money, you can do whatever you want. You can lie in whichever way you want. Now, Kayani not only runs anti-India propaganda, but also runs PMLN, that is Pakistani Muslim League Nawaz Sharif propaganda in Pakistan. He has been running a similar interactive map showcasing the achievements of the ruling PMLN government. So you can look at this. Also, you should go back and look at the link and try to get it bigger so you can understand what is going on. Again, they'll never rest with one anti-India diatribe. And they'll go after India in Kashmir. I'm sure Khalistan is not far behind. So this person, Kayani, has stayed in the past in the United Kingdom and Russia per his LinkedIn site. This is his information. He is a key player in anti-India propaganda. His alter ego on social media is called Cyrus Kayani, just to kind of make it look like maybe he's a Parsi, right? You will even have Chandragupta also as Indian name. They are going to do every little possible thing to try and fool the unsuspecting Indians. What we really need to do is to really wake up from our slumber and look around us how many ways we are being fooled and cheated. Now, this guy also has a hand in global village space. Again, you can go and take a look at this website to see what exactly they are saying. Twocirclesnet, global village space. Take a look at those two websites. Then you'll see a lot of information. Also, this guy tries to morph himself into different avatars to make it look like what you see in Twitter handle is not the same as what you see in LinkedIn. LinkedIn, he has a clean shaved face. On the Twitter, he has got a beard, makes it look like he's much more of a some sort of a radical person. Where else have we seen this before? Remember this lady, Valli Karunakaran? She is one of the authors of the Equality Labs report. See how this all ties back? I mean, they haven't even tried to hide it. It's very easy to figure out that so-and-so person is part of this other network. We've been telling this to you for a long time. Equality Labs is just another establishment that is being funded by the alphabet soup organizations, and whoever is funding them, there's also funding these people, and they've also managed to fool the Democratic Party into funding money into them, as well as some other people. Now, it's also possible that Democratic Party is acting like a pass-through for somebody who says, I'll give the Democratic Party 2.5 million as long as you allocate $400,000 to this particular website. They'll do it because they're getting 2.1 million. I mean, this is an easy business decision. As long as they don't have anything to do with it, as long as whatever this new cause that people want diverted the money is not in any way harmful to their cause, which is the Democratic Party. So, Equality Labs is not taking pot shots at Democratic Party. It is taking pot shots at Sanatanis. Twocirclesnet is part of Pak's Op2Pac. Again, Op2Pac is described in great detail in Disinfo Lab. You can read that document. It runs into 100 plus pages, I think. And this is basically to try and balkanize India. And there is a very detailed, objective of what they want. Dalitistan, Thisistan, Thatistan, Dumilistan, all these things, right? Now, before forming TCN, this guy called Kashif ran Urdustan and Indian Muslims, which endorsed Dalitistan that projected breaking India into Dalitistan, Mughalistan, Khalistan, and so on. This is a map. These are all guys getting wet dreams when they sleep. Probably they get up in the middle of the night and then start chalking out all these nonsense narratives. Little realizing that the country they are from is getting broken up into several parts. I mean, administratively today, the Pakistani army cannot even get into many areas in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa or in Balochistan. Pretty soon it's going to happen in Sindh also. Maybe it will also happen in POK, I should say POJK, as well as Gilgit Baltistan. We'll see. The truth is, the bottom is falling from under their feet and they have no way of stopping it. Maybe, I'm just hoping that these are all remnants of a funding that took place sometime. And, just like a candle shines brightly before it completely extinguishes. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But strangely, this interest shown by the Soros Foundation companies into these efforts is what worries me, because these guys have a lot of money. Even if that tap runs dry, they would have found a new tap. And I still can't fathom what Soros has for Hindus and Sanatanis and so on, and India. I mean, why isn't this guy behaving like any other billionaire, who just goes and only works at some other places? They'll be isolating themselves, or they'll be going to parties where nobody else comes. I don't know why this guy has it for trying to disrupt the way things are, and in the process creating chaos and confusion. If you look at the people who are associated with Hindutva Watch, it's a dead giveaway. All the names that you are familiar with as part of the alphabet soup, they all figure out here. Again, you can go and look at the link to get the details. This is too small a print for me to show you here. Who starts this thing going? Typically, the usual suspects such as Washington Post or Muslim Brotherhood Front like Al Jazeera. That's where they start. And then it'll spread to Pakistani and Turkish news media. These guys are getting paid for all these things. You know that I've been saying this for a while now, that Saudi Arabia and UAE, all their radical elements have now been sort of like told to go to Turkey, settle down there, carry on their radicalization from there and do whatever, and there's a quiet money being sent there. But at the same time, India is smart. What India did was, when UAE wanted to invest, they said, you come and invest in Srinagar. Then UAE will not be doing anything that will destabilize their own operations. Good for them, good for India. So these kinds of things have to be done. You have to embed them in a way that they will not be inclined to support any kind of radicalization in India. Well, let's hope that this formula works out for India. What is going on is that once something starts from there, it will find its way into some of the left-leaning loony sites in India. Those guys will, start making a mountain out of a molehill. I mean, the best way to describe it is how Professor Salvatore Babon said that for some reason the Indian intellectuals end up being on the side that bets against India. I mean, I think he's taking pot shots at the left loonies, but these are the intellectuals. They are the ones who self-proclaimed intellectuals. The real intellectuals, and there are not many of them, they're too busy doing their own stuff. But nobody wants to go and ask them. Only now you're seeing some literary fests where there is a more balanced approach to things. They call both sides. Again, they are not stopping calling the left. They call the left loonies also. But at least there are, lit fests where both sides get heard in the same platform. On the other side, you don't even get to hear the other side. Meaning, like in left-generated lit fests, there is no room even to listen to a right-wing voice. In fact, recently there was a delegation that was supposed to present in front of Congressman Ro Khanna, and they ensured that the Meitei Hindus would not be represented there. It was all an IIMC/Nadine Gensler show. Nadine is there because she used to be the chairwoman of USCIRF. That's it. Otherwise, there is no need for somebody who is an ex-USCIRF person to come and sing praises or deride somebody. Basically, guys, now people have completely set aside their morals, their ethics, and they just want to get paid, period. That's it. Whatever easy, wherever the money comes, which is easy, they'll go and get it. And remember, many of these people are being funded to just go and try and find faults, to try and amplify them, to make it look look how bad they are. That's all they're doing. So this cracks me up. In the logo Hindutva Watch, they are using Trishul. How well do you know Trishul, guys? Tridalam, Trigunakaram, Trinetrancha, Triyayudham, Trijanma Papa Samharam, Ekavilvam Shivarpanam. Well, you take one leaf, Vilva leaf, and if you place it in the feet of Lord Shiva, Trijanma Papa Samharam, for 3 lives, all the sins you committed will all be washed away. I leave the Hindutva Watchites with this thought. I hope at least now you get some wisdom. And again, these are all things that are vicious more than what will happen. They'll continue to spew venom at India. And all these people, again, they use their fronts in United States to try and escape some of the more strict laws in place in India. So they'll say that this is freedom of speech. You know how freedom of speech has been converted into hate speech by Mr. Pannu, right? So this is what's headed our way. India needs to look up and be ready. And also Indian Americans, Indian Canadians, British Hindus, British Indians, everybody, this is going to affect you all. At least now, wake up and smell the coffee. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.